I think Anna Marie, you missed you didn't see the picture I sent because Eleanor figured it out right away.
Oh, I didn't. I think I didn't watch on or had a look on my iPad this afternoon since I felt a bit dizzy.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
But I
understand
think
that.
we are now live on YouTube. Let's see if I find us.
Right. I think we're live.
You too. You too.
Yep,
Y-
we are live.
There we
Even
go.
the chat window popped up.
Yep.
So hello and welcome everybody.
Yeah, we may be live, but I don't really feel alive today. Kind of dragging with I'm tired and coughing, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
Mm,
But you had a special visitor in the socialization room.
yep.
really,
Mm.
Uh-huh.
a mouse.
No.
No, not a mouse. Look at your iPad and you'll see.
Was it Bob?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. My iPad is like two two floors downstairs. I
All
don't
right.
wonder.
It was a birdie, but it wasn't Bob. But it was somebody very special. Not
You
that
can
Bob
look
isn't
at
very special.
you
Was
can
it a finch?
look at the community pictures on YouTube. You can see the last posting I had shows the picture. Doesn't say who it is, but it shows the picture. Hi, Cecil. Hey, baby.
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to force. Stop that, Cecil. He wants to get petted, so he's banging me with his beak. And I'm gonna have to get forced in here tomorrow because it'll be the third day. I won't let him go 3 days without coming in. Okay. So far, I haven't had to force him once, but
Is that Mandy you're talking about?
uh-huh.
Mm. It's for his own good.
You telling me you're asleep? Is that why you're grinding your beak there, little girl?
So we have Jocelyn here with us. She says, hello, Don and Flock. Hello, Jocelyn. Nice to see you.
Hello, Jocelyn.
Hello. Hello. Can you
Oh,
say
look
hello?
at Shiggy.
Hey, Cecil, that's it. You're gonna move. Get over here when you start doing that.
Cecil.
And
That's not
Spirit Matter joined us as well. Hello, Spirit Matter.
hello, Spirit Mata.
Hey.
Negative punishment. That's not the way to get my attention. He beaks my arm. He doesn't hurt me, but he when they start doing that, after a while, it becomes if you ignore it, then it gets worse and worse and worse. Which is why when you're training, you don't want to use extinction by itself. You ignore something, and eventually it gets worse. Is the way it usually works, unless you get awfully lucky, which is rare. So every time he tries to beak my arm so that I pet him, I put him over there, and he has to climb down because he doesn't fly. Well, he can, but he won't. He doesn't realize it, do you? You're going to be not. Don't start that. I'll put you back over there. Don't start it. Not. Don't start that. I'm going to put you over on the other thing. Good. Okay. All right. Let's give you some more walking. Come on, you're smart. You'll figure it out.
And Falcon Sue joined us as well. Hello, Falcon Sue.
Hello, Falcon Sue. Cecil's getting negative punishment right now, so.
And negative punishment means taking away the thing that they want.
Well, you're removing something in order to decrease or extinguish a behavior.
Right.
And this time I put my hand up and he didn't open his beak. I'm trying to remember to silence myself when I cough, but I cough so much that less than I was before, but still I'm having a coughing fit right now. And of course, we're doing online, so.
Well, if you need to mute and cough, then go ahead.
Oh, that's what I've been doing actually, but
Yeah.
so
We
we're
can
gonna
see the birdies, so they'll keep us entertained while you're coughing.
yeah. So today we're going to talk about great, you can tell I'm not all here. I try to avoid things like you know. There I do it again. Talk about parrot training. My head's not all here. I had tea, but it wasn't enough to get me motivated. What are you doing over there, big boy? Now, training should be fun. And the problem is, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be frustrating. But or if, hey, oh, hold on a minute. Yes, I know you like to eat zippers, but it's a good place to put my phone sometimes. And if you chew up the zipper, I can't do that. KK bird. KK the bird. So, for example, with Romeo, I've been what happened was this is quite some time ago when we were in Fallbrook. I left him for 1 minute with a person, an older person, and I don't believe they did anything. I think he just freaked out because he was left alone with somebody he didn't know that well, even though he'd been there a couple of times. But after that, he didn't want to come out of his cage. So I worked out a fun way to get him out of his cage where I could sit and listen to a book or something and play with him and or put on a something on his TV. Usually I just listen, and that way I just pet him and play with him. And so, in other words, I made his training to get out of the cage something positive. So what I did, because he was so paranoid about getting out of the cage, is put a chair right next to the door. And I did it the same way every time. I'd call him over so that he wasn't hanging on the door. Then I'd open the door. And once the door is open, I have my chair with my cushion on it, and I sit there, and then he comes over to my lap when he wants to. Now it's pretty much right away. Actually, in the beginning, I would have to sit there for 5 or 10 minutes before he'd finally put a foot on me. I'd be petting him, and he would move all the way back away from me, not because he doesn't like me, just because he's scared. Eventually, he moved up. It took a few weeks, actually. He moved up to where he'd sit here, and then he started coming up onto my lap regularly, just coming right up. And now he comes halfway down the cage. I put my hand up and he gets on my hand. So this has taken some time. I don't worry about how long it takes. I knew what the plan was to eventually get him to step on my hand. And then from there, I went to getting up and walking over to his television. It's about 4 feet away. So I walk over to the television, then walk back and sit back down. And then I started making little longer treks over towards the doorway, towards the kitchen and back, and then into the kitchen, and then over to the toy table and back. And then last night, I actually took and walked him over to the socialization door, opened the door, and he came and sat with me. So by making it something fun for yourself, in this case, I am actually, even though I'm sitting with him for 45 minutes a night, half hour to 45 minutes, listening to a book or something and playing with him and talking to him. And so I'm making it fun for myself and fun for him. That's desensitization. I'm getting him desensitized to being away from his cage. Because the fact, I think everyone knows this, but he had, some Dr. Menkler of the veterinary world damage his feathers. So he has 4 feathers that won't come in. So he can't be stable when he's standing and he can't fly properly. So when he gets into a fugue state where he's afraid to come out of his cage, then this is what I have to do. But if you were just going to force yourself to sit in a chair and be with him, it might get, for some people, it might just get a little boring. You're just sitting in a chair doing nothing. So, listen to a book, get some earbuds, listen to a book. He's afraid of phones, so he either gets aggressive or he runs away from them. So I have to keep it in my pocket or keep it away from him. But you figure out a way to make it fun for yourself too. And training, when you're training a bird, if you're training them to do some of the basic things like targeting is the first thing you train, to follow your hand. Because if you want them to go somewhere, even to step up, they have to follow your hand. I mean, it's so natural. But most people try to train the step up first. And that's really inaccurate. You want to start with the targeting first. Unless, of course, a bird is afraid of your hands, then you have to work on making them you have to work on making it so they're not afraid of your hands. And for that, the come bearing gifts and calm attention is the best method, where they pay attention to you. So with the come bearing gifts, you're just bringing a treat on an irregular schedule to them in their cage or on a perch. What, Cecil? What? What? You want my attention? Why? Why do you want my attention? Hmm? Hmm? Is the minx ignoring you? Is Lorelei ignoring you? So if you're training something like that, you can make it fun for yourself too. One of the first things I train them to do is just to follow my hand. So target on my hand. So it's kind of fun. You get them to, like in this case, I would get him to, I would put some kind of treat out there, and then he would take the treat. And then, slowly, you don't do it quickly, but you slowly move the treat further this way and then further that way as you provide it. Until you can see he follows my hands, because he's actually, get that in the picture. You see how he will follow my hand. That's because he's been target trained. I'm not doing the exact same thing I would do. With target training, I tend to do this with I tend to go like that, because it's not a normal thing. Quite often people will get their hands to the bird's face, but if you do it like this, it's not something you would normally do. So when they see that, they first they see the treat, and eventually you put the treat behind where they can't see it. They know it's there, and then they follow your hand around. And so when you're training something like step up, you can put your hand out there, and then you have the bird see your hand, and then you say step up, and they come and get the treat. So you associate the words, the cue, with the behavior, and you put your hand so that when they get to the treat that's in your hand is when they're actually doing the step up, not when they're just standing there. So you teach the targeting, and then there's other kinds of targeting that go with it. I have, come here, step up, come here. I don't know how I'm going to get you on my lap right here. Okay. One of the things with targeting is getting them to do different behaviors. In this case, you're at the vet, and they need to see, the feathers, the feather condition. As you can see, he has a little problem here. It hasn't spread much, so we haven't given him medication. When it starts spreading, he'll have to have it. Come here. So right here is where I touch to get the wing out on all the birds, and they'll get their wings out. When I go like this, come here. I'm trying to do this one-handed. When I go like this, I can get them to open their beak so I can see in their beak. Again, this is a type of targeting. If you want them to turn one way or the other, you're going to examine one eye or examine the other eye. He knows that pressure on the side of his beak is to turn his head and to stay there. But it's kind of fun. You can play with this and go open the beak. There we go. So you can take the different targeting positions that you teach. Mainly it's by where you put your finger, but you can get them to do all kinds of funny things and then give him a treat for it. He doesn't need a treat for it though. But he doesn't care. He's not in treats right now. So. Right, Cecil? Just be consistent. Don't. If you use your right index finger, it's always your right index finger. In the beginning, anyway. Until you generalize the behavior, you can make it so that they can accept it from either hand. But don't try to do that in the beginning. It's confusing. Why is he coming at me with the left hand? And doing the right hand does this. The left hand does something different. Right? And then you teach the veterinary behaviors. You can teach them to hang. It's fun when you teach them to hang upside down. And that's a veterinary behavior too, because they need to be examined. I mean, underside needs to be examined as well. So you can get them to hang upside down. Will you hang upside down for me today? Come on. There he is.
Oh, that's sweet. Hi, Cecil.
See, he's okay with it because I have a certain way of holding the feet, and I hold it the same way every time. And then when I twist my hand, he goes over. Now, if you don't think a bird can fight you on that, when you start teaching it, you'll see all kinds of fun stuff because they won't know what the heck you're doing. But once you give them the treat, when they're in that position, he's looking at me like, do I get a treat for that? I'll bet you, though. Good boy. It's a R. No, you can smell the cough drop. I know this. They don't have a great sense of smell, but he knows I've had some kind of, but he sees as food probably. He's got food and he's not sharing. No, I don't share anything from my mouth. So you can teach things, once you're teaching the basics of targeting and stepping up in the medical behaviors, you can play with it, all of that. You can have them step up, put their wings out. Then when you can do this too, is you do the target and get their wing up on one side. I would have both hands. In this case, he is used to having me use both hands. So I can get both wings out. And then you can get the wings all the way out on both sides. And then you can teach where they usually use the cue big eagle. But eagles are kind of nasty birds. And, they steal, as Benjamin Franklin said, they steal food. And they're not terribly bright. So you can come up with whatever cue you want for that. But you can have them put their wings out. You could say big bird. You can have them do the big bird thing, right? Right? He used to do big bird, but I haven't trained it for a while. So I don't think he would do it now. And then you can teach things like pointing this one salamander nose, point your finger at them and get them, say bang, and then they fall backwards. You can get them to do things like that. And they like to do that. So I enjoy doing those behaviors. Mandra does sit-ups too, but again, with his pelvis the way it is, I don't like stressing his back that way. But it's fun things for you to do with the bird, and you give them a treat for it, and after a while they'll do it just for fun. One of the things that I heard, and I tried it out, you can, when you're training a bird to do something on a perch, for example, if you put the treats right down at the bottom where they could just climb down and get them, they'll wait until they've done their trick that you've taught them, their behavior, and then they'll take it from you rather than climb down to get what's free sitting down below. So that tells you they enjoy it. They get a kick out of doing that kind of thing. Where it gets frustrating for them is if you're giving them cues they don't understand and they don't know what you want. That's why you have to be consistent in the way you present something. All right? Right. Everybody's so quiet today. Where'd the minx go?
Little birdies. Uh-oh.
Minx,
She's by
down
the
there.
shoes.
Hello, Lorelei.
Shoes? She thinks she can do something with them.
You probably will.
And
And if you
Hugo was
keep,
grinding her beak, so she's probably fast asleep now.
no, she's not looking. I don't know what she's doing down there. She looks like she might go to sleep. Eyes are closing. So the best thing to do is 3 to 4 days a week for 10 minutes at a time. I mean, you're talking about no more than a half hour, 40 minutes of training a week. And if you're training them and they don't seem to be interested in the training, then just get them to do something you already know. If they know step up or target, get them to do one of that and praise them for it and stop the training. Try again later. But it can be fun. It's actually more fun than training children, I think. They don't talk back as much, do you? No. Cecil doesn't talk back.
Not the Cecil, nope.
Sometimes he will, but it's not common.
No,
Cecil,
he has so many other talents.
he's a good talker when he wants to, but the thing about teaching, that's something too. People want their birds to talk. Not every bird's going to want to do that, but you have to catch them while they're actually vocalizing or they're paying attention to you. That's where calm attention comes in. If you can train a bird to look at you for 60 seconds or even 30 seconds without taking their eyes off of you to get a treat, then what you're going to have is a bird that pays attention. So when you start talking, they're going to watch your lips move and listen to the sound. But if you haven't trained that and they're easily distracted, then it's going to be a lot harder to train them to talk.
So we have another chatter here. It's Colin Thurston who says he's late, but here we are happy to have you. So welcome, Calvin.
Hello.
And then we have a question by Falcon Sue who wants to know what kind of training has Don taught to KK.
KK, well, he understands targeting. He knows how to put his wings out. He can do the veterinary behaviors. He pays attention to me when I'm dealing with him. I have other behaviors don't have to do with that kind of thing, or I've trained him not to be as aggressive, or which is basically to pull in his territorial line. So his territory is smaller, so he's less likely to go after the pink birds. And that took a lot of work. Slow, incremental change. You can see how calm he is. He's just probably needs another couple of pieces of wood. So of all the things I taught him, that's probably the most important. But he knows the veterinary behaviors. He can be flipped upside down. And Lorelei, we knew you were going after my shoes eventually. And I've introduced him and worked with him being dealing with the other birds. That was desensitizing him to having other birds in his environment. He can tolerate the Moluccans within about 2 feet. And he tolerates the umbrellas, which are his own species. Although this one up here has been a little pushy lately, and now he's not so happy with her, but she gets too close to him and he starts defending the area because she defends her area. So we have a little territorial cross going, but most of the time he leaves her alone. Most of the time she leaves him alone, but she's just got this thing about don't mess with me. I'm Lucy. So he's learned quite a bit. What he's taught me, he has a certain sound when he wants more toys, and this guy rips up wood and turns it into toothpicks and so fast. I only gave him 2 pieces of wood. I'm going to throw a couple more. Be nice. Hey, Lorelei, that's my shoes. See, this is a big thing he has learned. He has learned that it's okay to have other birds around him, and I introduced him to Cecil first because Cecil's the one that's best at making friends. Used to be Coco who was best at that. No. No. Inadvertently, I've taught him some. He's learned to say Babaloo. And I think it was Bob and I teaching him that because Bob says it so much. So now he says Babaloo.
Do you think he knows that it's Bob's name?
Yep.
Is he saying
Probably.
it? Is he exasperated? Like, oh, Babaloo.
I think he does, mainly because in the wild they learn each other's names. So
I think after a month, KK was able to say the bob bird.
well, it is the most common thing you hear around here because Bob is extremely talkative. So
Yep, he's telling everybody he's the Babaloo Bob. Bob, Babaloo, Becca.
yeah, so there's training going on all the time. I mean, there's a specific training where you have them on a perch, or where you're dealing with like such things such as earlier, where this guy was opening his beak every time I was putting my hand close to him. So I took him and put him away from me, which is negative because I'm taking him from where he wants to be and putting him somewhere else. That's removing him from one area to another. So that's taking something away. And the reason for that was to either eliminate or lessen his behavior of opening his beak whenever he wants attention. Then I have to allow him to do things like hit me with a piece of wood, because if I don't do that, then he's got no other option except to go back to the opening his beak. So I have to give some kind of replacement. He's trying to communicate with me, so I have to give him some way to do it. That's one of the problems people have when they're training a bird out of a behavior is they don't give them an alternate. And they're doing it. Stop it, Lorelei. Hi. Hey, monster. Leave my shoes alone. You have to give them an alternate. They're doing something for a reason. So
Sweet, sweet
it is.
guys.
It's fun to come up with these different ideas too. That's part of the fun is how am I going to get him to stop opening his beak? And what he was doing was just taking his beak, leaving it like that, not actually closing it, but then hitting me with it. The problem with that is that's not a problem now, but eventually, if for some reason I'm not paying attention when he does it, well, he's probably going to close the beak a little bit to get my attention. And then you see how you teach them to bite. So, I always get a kick out of people when, although it does occasionally happen, at least in our world, it seems like it happens, out of the blue. It isn't. For some reason, when you start seeing biting or negative behaviors, it's because they're being trained to do that. And often we don't see that we're training them. We don't realize that that's a training. Yes, like with the person who was trying to foster Snowball for a while. Her son thought it was funny when Snowball would come over and try to find a spot on your arm. If you had a scab or something, and come over and peck at it. So he taught Snowball to constantly pinch the skin. It took me about 6 months to break that behavior. So you can look at something like, oh no, my bird's doing this. Or you can say, wow, what can I do that's creative to change that? How can I creatively change that behavior? And that sparks that creativity and it can be fun. But of course, it's a lot of fun to teach them to do something like to pick up a miniature basketball and drop it in a hoop. So,
Or put a little trolley with things in it.
yeah, there's taught them taught cockatoos to ride little miniature tricycles and things like that. So you have to do that. Well, first you usually have to make it so the bird isn't afraid of the whatever it is, and then you have to get them up on it. So there's that whole process of getting them to sit on it, and you just plopping them on is probably not going to work. I mean, some birds who might just sit there, but then you got to get them to move their little legs to make on the pedals. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things, and you have to think it out. But it's part of the fun. And then when you're done, and you've got a bird that's riding around on a tricycle, it's fun for you and fun for them. That's
And they love showing it off to other people.
Yeah. And the birds like to show off too. They do. You see them in the wild doing that. What are you doing in my pocket? No.
Oh, I think I have here a feature. I think the short was from today from the Jim Bird, who has also a YouTube channel from a wild flock in Australia. And there was a young bird who had a fit, which was so ridiculously cute. Sitting on the tree, having the wings spread away, crest up, and doing the hilarious sounds. So you might want to take a look at it. So the channels, I think, Jim for the birds, or yeah, I think it's for the birds or burbs with B.
Yeah, and it's a good fun channel, and there's lots of examples of the kind of things that birds do for fun in his videos.
Yep. Since these cockatoos are all living wild in the free and just come for a visit. Oh, Calvin saw it.
Yeah, it's a good channel. a good channel. He's a great guy, and they are social. So I mean,
Yep.
you can't in the wild like that. Of course, you have to be somewhere where they are, but Australia is a little better than being in Indonesia. Well, at least the weather's better.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, the weather's better. The animals might eat you. The insects might kill you, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. In the last couple of years, they had so many bad fires and heats and then floods. So I don't know if you like can say it's better. I know what you mean from the usual climate, also it should be a little bit more human friendly than Indonesia, but yeah, if you can live with constantly 100% humidity, 30 degrees Celsius, why not? And you have to live with a lot of really curious animals, even biologists don't know anything about.
yeah, you just assume that they're poisonous when you see them. It's just
Yeah, that's the thing.
I should say venomous because animals aren't poisonous. Plants are.
That's the thing.
The big question there is: do you really want to live in a country where there is a common death adder? Um,
What about the common death crow or the death magpie or whatever one it is?
magpie,
Mm,
yeah,
Yeah.
magpies, yeah. Around their nesting season, you don't go want to go anywhere near to the magpies.
mm. Or a kind of under every third stone or rock will be a deadly poisoning animal.
They have spiders that get into privies there. That's yeah. So you go to an event and they have these porta potties out there. You don't want to go into one.
Mm,
Oh,
Some guy
that's like my worst nightmare.
he got bit 3 times. He says, "I keep saying I'm never going to come out to these events, and I have been bitten by a spider 3 times." Snakes coming out of the toilets. It's an interesting place.
not only, yeah, snakes out of the toilet. That's something like my worst nightmare.
Mm.
Well, I was talking to
Yeah.
a plumber, and the plumber was saying that he was he was rooting out a toilet in one building, and they had put the water. Well, I'm trying to. I know plumbing, so they had misplumbed it. It was plumbed correctly, so that his his cable went the wrong way, and it went up into another building. And this kid comes out of the bathroom naked, screaming, "Snake! Snake! Snake!" It was the plumber's drain snake, but to the child, it looked like a snake coming out of the toilet.
Mhm. Yeah, my children.
And you have to wonder about. There must have had to be somebody who was didn't know what they were doing, who was working for a plumber who misplumbed that. But are you digging down there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you are? Okay. I'm just checking with you. You're digging? Okay. You notice I spoke to him and he just turned and looked at me. Yeah, I spoke to you, didn't I? I said, hi there.
Mhm.
Hey, Caper. What, Jug?
Oh,
What,
the
sugar?
Shug.
Oh, she's awake.
Yeah, the mighty Shuk bird. Oh, look at her. So beautiful and pink and majestic. Shuggy.
Now that I pat her beak like this sometimes for maybe 5-10 minutes. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone else because this can be a mating behavior among birds. She's already mated to me, so it doesn't change anything. She's never laid an egg, so
Mm. And she also does not sit on you.
no, no. Well, in severe circumstances, it has happened a couple of times. Hey,
That's
no,
true.
no opening the beak. No opening. No.
I think when she thinks she has upset you in any way, then she comes down to check if everything's all right.
I think the last couple of times she's sat on you has been when she's had a mutilation incident. I wonder if she's like, thank you for saving my life or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if Sugar sits on Dawn, it's like, do we need to go to the vet?
Yeah. One time we were all thinking like she's going to die. No, she was just sitting for 20 minutes on Dawn and then just walked away. Like nothing has happened. Shuggy, did you scare us? Yeah, but
And
Moluccans are a little bit strange in that respect. Like, at least the ones we have,
they're
none of
very
them
socially
is.
awkward.
Yeah, I think Peaches was a big cuddler, but yeah, Peaches was in any respect unique. So
Mm,
the other
she was
Moluccans with
certainly
the
that.
Mollucan-like behavior are like social distancing a lot.
You got a chuckle out of KK for that.
Hmm. How's our Amanda doing?
He's doing fine. He comes out 2 or 3 times a week on his own schedule. I won't let him go more than 3 days though. So if he doesn't want to come out tomorrow, he's coming out anyway. And Romeo made his first trip in here last night, so here on out, I think I can bring him in by himself, and then I'll bring him in with someone like Sugar. So he'll be in here
Someone
with
who'll
a
leave him alone.
yeah, not pay him any attention. Uh-oh. Lorelai is now supporting the domino theory. Got a domino there, huh, kids? Yep.
She's imitating Cecil. No, I think that's Lorelai's unique style.
There's that one short video on I think it's even a GIF where the umbrella cockatoo comes up and kicks over a bunch of paper cups that are stacked one on top of the other. You can put like 3 paper cups on top of each other, and you can teach them to knock them over, and then you can make a bigger and bigger pyramid and have them do that.
I
You can
think
do it.
that's a GIF and a video. I think that's Holly, the cockatoo, who's living in the Netherlands, who's doing that.
Yeah, Harley has a lot of videos with cups.
And I think one made it into a meme or into a GIF maybe.
Yeah, like knocking them down and then like putting them in her foot and screaming into them.
Yeah, that's also hilarious.
It's unlikely the person who did that had him do that didn't teach it to him. So, because how many people stack up cups? So you can do the same thing with cards. You can take cards and stack them up like that. Although you better have a whole deck because they'll come along and chew the cards. But let's chew the cups too. And this is another way where he was beaking me. If he's got a domino or something in his beak, he's not going to try to beak me to get my attention. He'll hit me with the objects instead, which is preferable in most cases, right? Unless it's an object with a sharp end. He likes to take wood, sharpen one end, and then stick you with it, but that's Cecil. He'll actually sharpen one end of an object just to whack you with it.
That's a little sadistic, Cecil.
I think it's because he gets a stronger reaction from you that way. Not because he's trying to hurt you, but he just gets the stronger reaction. We tend to react more when somebody sticks us with something that's got a sharp point than if they just whack us with a domino, right?
Yeah, these guys love drama. If you give a strong reaction, then that encourages them.
What's up down there, guys? Hi, Snowball. They're a little more active than usual. I got Lorelei playing and Cecil up on my shoulder and Snowball down there playing and KK kicking. This is the kind of behavior I'm used to seeing after we're done. But like when you're training them to talk, they start vocalizing or they're paying attention. Again, it's if you teach them that calm attention where they pay attention to you, you're going to have a better chance of teaching them to talk. But that's how I caught Cecil. I caught him making sounds, and then I started saying Cecil, Cecil. Don't say Cecil unless you want your bird to say Cecil, because they're going to repeat what you do. And it's not like you're going to teach them. You have to teach them the exact sound you want. So, what are you laughing at? I don't have to teach you anything. You learn all that sounds on your own. KK's laughing at me.
We have a comment from Honey Baldridge who says, "Hello everyone, my cockatiel started to teach my cockatoo to talk, and an African grey taught the cockatiel to talk, so they teach each other."
Yeah, they do. Bob learned to say I love you from Romeo. Because Romeo, when he wants something, he will say I love you, and then I take it over to him. And didn't take Bob much more than a few days to figure out, well, it works for him, it may work for me. So he started saying I love you. Yeah. They learn through modeling, which is copying what people do, and they also learn, which is rare among animals, they learn to do it vicariously, which is when you hurt yourself and they see you hurt yourself on something, they will avoid it. Yeah, and you won't see something like a bird holding something in its beak and then trying to fly through an area where they're going to get caught. But you'll see a dog carry a stick the wrong way and not be able to figure out why it can't get through a fence. Just saying, the intelligence level is, far beyond. And while I like dogs, I mean, I don't trust them around birds because they're, kind of, what's the word? Humanized wolves. Although the latest research seems to point to them it was actually the wolves that modified their behavior to become, to attach themselves to human colonies rather than the other way around. So
yeah, they saw that if they were nice to the humans, then they get food and warmth. So they were like, let's behave all nice. So they domesticated themselves.
And humans, historically tend to dump their food or their waste stuff no more than 50 feet away from where they are. So at least from what we've seen through archaeology, so I mean the wolves could come up and get food and run off with it, the leavings from the humans, the bones and that kind of stuff. So and then the humans started throwing them food, so that's pretty much the way it went. What are you doing over there? Cecil?
Mm.
Hi. Hi, Cecil.
Oh, having FaceTime with Dawn.
Cecil FaceTime.
Mm-hmm. Laura looked a bit sleepy, and Jasmine, yeah, she is having a good nap in her napping cage over there. That's
Yeah.
no one puts her in there. She willingly goes inside there during the live stream and then afterwards comes out and doing fun stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
funny
okay.
because she naps in her cage and then she comes out of her cage and goes into another one and has a nap there.
Mm.
She'll get up later on. She'll get up on top of that cage and go around in circles and
Yep. But
make her.
maybe she just likes the perch in there. We don't know.
She's opening her eyes so she realizes she's being talked about. So
Yeah, we're talking about the Jessie Jazzbird. And I think we haven't talked about the lovely Lucy Pretty Bird today. I'm not sure. Have we introduced her? Yeah, she sits on her spot.
Lovely, Lucy.
yeah, she used to just say, she would talk her way over for me to pick her up, but now she comes down when she wants to on her own.
Talking is so stressful. Let's just walk or fly over.
Well, the thing is, the first time she says, she says Pretty Bird, she wants to come over, but she's not ready yet. So you have to lean over, and then she ignores you, and then you have to wait till she does it again. Then she wants to come over. Now she's just, I'll come over when I feel like it. Once in a while, she'll still say Pretty Bird, and once in a while she'll just fly right around my chest. So.
Yeah, that's what she wants.
No, we're not doing that. No, Lorelei, Minx, no. You're gonna get yourself into trouble.
Mm.
Yeah, Cecil's not too happy about that, so don't do it.
Oh no, guys.
He's got himself in a position to protect her. Like, don't you come over and mess with my mate.
So we had just Lisa Banerjee joining us, saying she's late. She was in town, saying hello to her friends. Oh no, she's saying to us hello. Sorry. It's already late here, so confusing the comments. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hello. KK, what you doing? Well, Snowball, his left leg, he was pretty much chewing it, or pulling all the. He wasn't chewing; he was pulling all the feathers out of it. And now I've got him on a dosage level where he's stopped doing that. Although you can't tell by his behavior, he's still running around being a crazy Snowball, but it doesn't seem to have much of an effect on their behavior after they've been on it for a while. But he's getting his feathers back now, aren't you? Aren't you? And I had a problem with Jasmine for a while too. She was starting to go after her chest a month or two ago, and that's all stopped. And I think a stable level of medication now. The problem with these mutilators is you really have to watch them because it can start quick. And if they're doing their chest, they may not actually take the feathers out in front. They may actually kind of open it up, get in there, and start working their chest and bleeding. So you got to keep a constant eye on them. This one tends to go after here, though. She'll go after these feathers first, so it's easier to tell with her. Right, Sugar?
Yeah, Sugar, you have great feathers all over. So proud of everyone.
Yeah. But you pink ladies have got to keep your feathers on because you look attractive to Snowball otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all worked a lot, their feathers a lot. With Peaches, I learned just how many feathers they have because she couldn't preen below her neck level because of her 6 fused vertebrae in her neck. So I had to preen the whole lower section of her body. And I don't know how many times I had to tell people. I'd say, don't preen a bird below their, pet a bird below their neck. And they'd say, well, you pet her that way. Yeah, because she can't do it. So I have to. And she was mated to me anyway. But there's a lot of feathers. There's a lot of
Mm.
feathers. And when you have to constantly go and do it, that's why you see them printing so much, because there's just a ton of feathers, and they have to zip them together, and then they have to take the sheaths off the ends of the new ones coming in. It's a job.
And if you do it wrong, they yell at you.
Yeah, I still get that from Lucy, because she lets Cecil preen her some, but that's about it. So,
Mm.
so
And
I have
yelling
to
sounds like barking. Woof.
Yeah. Yeah, Peaches would kind of go, "Brr."
Mm. The goose goose. Yeah, she's also one of the sensitive ones.
Yeah, she wants to be preened, but nobody does it quite right, so she gets annoyed.
Mm.
And then they're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
she has a hissy fit. Somebody doesn't do it right.
Mm.
She'll actually start hissing. So you go watch what you're doing now. There. Put my fingers in front of his beak. He doesn't open it now. But he did touch my arm. He didn't open his beak. You gotta watch it, because it just takes one little mistake, and then you're right back in the same spot. You gotta do it again. As far as eliminating a behavior. Hi. Hi. And the core of the behavior seems to be he just wants my attention. So if he opens his beak, he's not getting enough attention from me. So I have to put him off and do negative punishment. And then when he comes back, I have to make sure that I react and get his attention some other way, or he gets my attention some other way. It's more acceptable. But all this stuff's fun. It's fun to work with these guys. Even in a room when they're all active and all doing something, it's fun to keep track of it and get involved when they start having little altercations over territory, or they misread the other bird somehow. Right,
Yeah, there's
Cecil?
always something going on with cockatoos. It's never boring.
What do you think, Cecil? What do you think? Hmm.
So, and we have another chatter who says, hello everyone in Russian, I guess, and the name is somehow in Russian letters, so no idea how to spell it, so just hello to you. Thanks for coming and stopping
Yep.
by.
If Don could see the screen, he could probably read the Cyrillic, but we can't.
He could.
So
Well,
hello anyway.
since we're just about done, I can probably do that. Let me see if I can get YouTube open. I have to turn it off because I get echo. Let's see.
And Lisa, she came by to see her boy Cecil. Yeah, he was extra special cute today again, sitting a lot in front
Oh,
of Don's face,
yeah, he's a wonderful
demonstrating
boy.
training and veterinary behavior. He's such a champ in that.
Yeah. Oh, he knows all his behaviors. He's very good. He's an excellent student.
He is.
It's harder to do than I thought it would be. When I open up Zoom, it doesn't take me into it. I mean, open up YouTube, I don't see our video, our live stream at all on Vivo. There we are.
Oh, Falcon, so is replacing us by a Falcon live stream. All right, Falcon, so thanks for coming by. I think we are basically at our end as well. So have fun. Thanks for coming.
Привет, всем. Welcome, привет всем.
Yeah, thank you, Don. Well done.
Yep.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. And thanks, Amy and Eleanor, for your watching our channel and making sure that I don't shoot myself in the foot. I hate that phrase. I have another better one, not something I can say online. A friend of mine used to use a phrase I much prefer, but we'll see you folks next week.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday.
Have a great time. Oh, look, what's the sugar?
You know, they're all becoming active because, you know, it's time to finish.
Mm.